Hi, I'm Mark Smith with Family Tree Counseling Associates, and I'm the author of Managing Abandonment Issues Through Recovery. And I'm going to be speaking today on the subject of what are abandonment issues. I toss around that term almost as if everybody knows what it means and everybody doesn't know what it means. It sounds a little like psychobabble. You know, you hear it referenced in a movie or in a book, and it sounds a little psychobabble-ish, but I wanted to make the video just to make the point that there's really nothing psychobabble-ish about it. Abandonment issues are basically overreactions to anybody in your life distancing from you, or you perceiving them from distancing from you. They maybe haven't distanced, it just feels that way. Abandonment issues are crazy, irrational jealousy. The extreme example of abandonment issues going back to the 80s in film would be the character Glenn Close played in the movie Fatal Attraction. Now that's off the charts abandonment. That's really crazy abandonment. But trust me, of the people watching this video, if you're like the normal population, which you probably are, I would say, you probably have higher abandonment issues if you've sought this information out. At least 60% of the couples represented in the people watching this video have abandonment issues, and at least half of those are pretty severe abandonment issues. I call abandonment issues the most painful emotional pain known to mankind. It's the most difficult issue to treat in therapy. And like I said, it affects at least 60% of the population, and at least 30% it's their main day-to-day issue that they fight about. So it is real, and it is painful, and it's where you live. So let me give you some examples of everyday crazy abandonment issues. The classic is you're trying to reach your honey on the cell phone and they're not picking up. And if you have abandonment issues and you've tried to call them 4 times and you're feeling like, where are they? Are they dead? Are they off with some other woman? What's going on? And it just makes you anxious. It makes you picture things in your head that are irrational. This is very common. It makes you tend to be emotionally reactive when you do locate the guy who wasn't answering his phone, and maybe his phone died. He probably isn't up to anything at all. Maybe he left his phone in his car when he went and did an errand. But that's an example of an overreaction. Another example would be somebody showing up late to a family function, like 15 minutes late. And in these examples, I'm using women. And trust me when I tell you that abandonment issues are no respecter of gender. In my book, I start out the book with about 5 examples in a row of men with severe abandonment issues. But in this case, a fella shows up at the bowling alley and meeting his wife there, and due to a emergency at work, he gets there 15 minutes late. And she's got abandonment issues. that situation calls for maybe this much anger and anxiety, but she reacts with this much. And she sort of throws a fit and embarrasses this man in front of his extended family. Another classic example in 2012 would be you notice that your spouse has a new friend on Facebook, and they are a friend from high school, and you notice that they're sort of attractive. So then your mind gets working, and you're like, you know, who is this chick? And you imagine them emailing each other quite a bit, and then you start wondering if they're meeting for lunch. And I don't know about you, but I get requests from old high school friends all the time. Doesn't mean I want to date them. They live in Wisconsin or wherever. They're just somebody I used to know, as the song goes. Now, granted, in today's world, people do make hookups with people on Facebook, and new people they meet on Facebook, or old people that they've dated on in high school. Or they go to the high school reunion and start something. But it's different if your spouse has cheated. Then you should be alert and have your eyes open. They should be on probation, so to speak. But if they've never given you any reason to believe that they're cheating or unfaithful, then just because they got a new Facebook friend doesn't mean you got to have a fight on Saturday night and ruin the weekend. That's an abandonment reaction. Another abandonment reaction that's pretty common would be anytime there's a third party, whether it be the stepchildren, the secretary at work, a good friend. An example would be maybe somebody you went to college with that you've always just been friends with, met for dinner, and you meet for dinner, and you're not attracted to that person. They're not attracted to you. It's never been about that. But if you're married to somebody with abandonment issues, they're going to make little digs. Did you enjoy your date with your girlfriend? They're going to get nasty about it, and their mind is going to work even though there's nothing tangible that would indicate that you're doing anything inappropriate whatsoever. Men can be friends with women. Women can be friends with men. Just because you're married and in a relationship doesn't mean you have to be in a cage. And it doesn't mean that, every person of the opposite sex you want to go have an affair with. That's pretty crazy. Again, if somebody's had an affair and they have a proven track record of acting out, then yeah, they need to bear some scrutiny, but not in a reactive, name-calling, accusatory, demeaning fashion. So another example would be if you have extreme abandonment issues, is your husband falls asleep and you go get his cell phone out and you go through who he's texting, you look at his schedule, you read his emails, and that's really irrational abandonment issues. If he's not giving you any indication that that's who he is, you're wasting your time and you're losing sleep over nothing. Now, again, if he has had an emotional affair, or if he's had an affair, if he has a sexual addiction, you should check his phone. You shouldn't trust him until you know darn well that he's done the work to be clean and sober and to have that same mind frame for the rest of his life. what abandonment issues do is they basically cause you to be instantaneously drunk. You know, not a very good snapper. You know, you're just drunk like this. And even though you haven't had any alcohol, you act drunk, and you are drunk on abandonment issues, to where you're irrational, you're reactive, you're accusatory, and typically the spouse of somebody with abandonment issues, by nature they're distancers. By nature they have what we call shame or oversensitivity to being criticized. So if you come at them, I'm reading a lot of people's mail. I know for a fact 30% of you, this is where you live on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis. So when he feels attacked for something he didn't do in a mean, ugly way, what's he going to do? He's going to go, you know, park himself in his man cave and watch football all day, or get on his motorcycle, take a long ride, or stay at work to avoid coming home, or hang out in the garage, or hang out with his buddies. He's not going to hang out with you, so the very thing you want the most is his time and attention, but you fear he's going to abandon you, and you make it a self-fulfilling prophecy. So this is what abandonment issues, how they show themselves. My next video that I'm going to make is based on what causes these abandonment issues. You know, the case I make to most of my clients is, I can tell you what it's caused by. I'll tell you exactly what it's caused by in your life, but it really doesn't matter. If you got abandonment issues, you got them. So the main thing you need to do is to become an expert on how abandonment issues affect you in your relationship and in your life. And then step back. I'm gonna make a third video where I talk about a couple who have had enough therapy to where it's a fellow who has these main abandonment issues. He's able to step back. So the video is going to be about how being insightful and aware can keep you from having ugly conflict that can't be resolved, and help you to communicate in a pleasant, non-reactive, connected manner that helps you to resolve actual conflicts. So gaining the insight, the perspective, the analysis on the subtle day-to-day abandonment issues, the best source that I'm aware of on this planet, frankly, honestly, is my book on abandonment, Managing Abandonment Through Recovery. Because the whole first part of the book is 20 examples of couples who, and individuals who I discuss their particular flavor, their particular type of abandonment issues. And that's the type of insight and analysis that will be priceless for you, either as you deal with a spouse with abandonment issues or as you try to deal with yourself. So this book is timely, it's relevant, it is not psychobabble. If you're one of the 30% that are really suffering from abandonment issues, it can save your marriage, it can save your sanity, it will be priceless to you. So it is available on our website, familytreecounseling.com. There's a link, it'll take you to a page with a ton of information, then you can click to purchase the book. So thank you for watching today. Abandonment issues are real. Learn more about them, and it can make a world of difference in your relationship. Thank you.